begin.
And we are live. Welcome to The Contradiction with myself, Barry McDonald, and Lethea McCann. As I say each week, Facebook is a private-owned interface, so if you do get logged off, just hop back onto the page and you'll find a new link there. We're also multi-streaming on various platforms, so comment and
engage.
That's right.
Hey, listen up. If you're lucky enough to fall in love with someone, I love you. Try not to ruin it by Googling them. Okay.
The Contradiction with Lethea McCann and Byron McDonald.
Just to make sure you don't forget what we look like.
So as I say each week, The Contradiction is about bringing different viewpoints together and allowing you, the viewer, the opportunity to comment and engage and give your viewpoint on the topic. So each week we get a new guest host with a new topic to discuss and contradict each other's viewpoints. So our guest host for tonight's show is Tracey Calvert-Joshua from Cape Town, South Africa. Tracey grew up in the so-called Skurveflatse in Ottery. Skurveflatse in Ottery and attended an all-girls Catholic high school. Tracey went from wanting to be a teacher to a doctor, a virologist, a geologist, and neuroscientist. And she says that in some way she has managed to achieve most of her childhood dreams. Mm-hmm. She is currently in her final stages of completing a PhD in bioinformatics, and Tracey is undoubtedly a very versatile and curious woman, as she also is a published author. She has recently published a book called The Jelly Beans of Relationships, where she takes a non-preachy look at relationship struggles and also small changes that can be made that will result in a better relationship for the future. So without any further ado, let us go ahead and bring on Tracey Calvert-Joshua.
Hey Tracey, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. What have you been up to? And tell us a little bit more before we get into this not so juicy topic. I don't think it's juicy. I think it's an easy topic. Oh, woman, complicated. Before we get into that,
we'll see.
Tell us more about yourself and tell us more about this book, this Jelly Bean book.
Yeah. The thing is, talking about myself is a little weird because I'm constantly changing, which is a good thing. Obviously, we're supposed to progress. But I think I'm a little bit of a whole lot of combinations of things that may seem contradictory. Like, for example, I'm very much a sciencey person, but I also like religion or spirituality and mysticism. I like philosophy. I like looking at relationships, but I also value individuality and independency. So it's a bit difficult, and maybe it seems like I'm probably the perfect person to touch on the topic that we'll be discussing because it sounds complicated. But yeah, I'm a whole lot of different things. The most important thing that I am is that I'm constantly learning and constantly developing and applying the things that I learn. So yeah.
Excellent.
So Tracey, tell us more about the book that you've recently published, The Jelly Beans of Relationships.
It's actually the yummy jelly beans of relationships.
Oh, the yummy jelly beans.
Yeah.
We're starting off.
Yeah, so Byron. No, it's you see, the thing is, the book was originally going to be called The Muggle Flavored Jelly Beans of Relationships. So those who obviously are Harry Potter fans will kind of understand where I'm coming from. And then I changed it because it was too early in my career as a publicist to be sued for copyright or trademark infringement. But I wanted to stay true to the fact that I believe relationships can be yummy. You know, like, I mean, it's named after sort of the Bertie Bott's jelly beans, where the scientist makes this concoction by accident of all these jelly beans that ends up being not just edible ones, but dirt flavor, earwax flavor, rotten egg flavor, all of these things. And as a scientist at Lethea, you may kind of maybe understand, you've seen this maybe in the lab, you don't want to throw your experiment away when it failed. Mm-hmm. So am I supposed to say hello to all these people are saying hello?
You can greet. It's fine. That's we are friendly. And it's not just our show, it's their show also. Okay. So they will comment and engage.
Yeah.
Okay, then hi everyone. And then so basically relationships are not like those jelly beans where you kind of have to blindly put your hand in the bag and hope you don't pull out the earwax flavor or something, but you can actually have only the yummy flavors. So that's kind of where the yummy jelly beans theme came from.
Nice.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
But, ladies, and I'm going to say ladies before I say women, because that word is going to be used a lot today, probably. Topic at hand. And that's why we have a guest host. Very intelligent, very versatile. She knows it, she feels it. And I loved how she ended her last video. And this is how the topic came about. Women are not complicated. So the question is, are women complicated, Tracey?
Well, I think let me just say for those who don't know that this was not the original topic. This started off very strange actually because Latia asked me to do a little intro, and me being very awkward on camera, I kind of started off like doing the first part, which you said, tell us about yourself, and tell us what you do. So I kind of ended off with, it's not you, it's me. And I promise you, I did it so many times over. And every time I did it over to make it sound less phony, it sounded phonier. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stop on this attempt because it's getting worse with every try. But then I showed it to my husband and he said, but it's so short. And I was like, but I think I put everything I wanted in there. But, Latia also said, what do I do? And I kind of, the two are separate to me. So I went back and I recorded it. And then as I was speaking, I realized, this is actually a bit complicated. And then I heard the voice of all these men in my head saying women are complicated. And so out loud, that was kind of me just like defending myself against all of these men in my head. Women are not. And then I thought, you know what? It's authentic. It's truthful. I'm going to leave it in there.
Exactly.
And then that's how I sent it. And I think you guys just grabbed on that and then went it. And that's how we actually ended up talking about this. So I just wanted to get it out of the way. That was not the original topic, but spontaneous is always the best way to go. Right?
Exactly.
So, the short answer is yes.
Woo!
Yes,
Contradictory.
and no. Because we won't be complicated if we don't answer it like that, right? Actually, but the long answer to that question is, I think that the better way to do it is to kind of take the scientific approach to this, right? Because we women are often accused of being emotional, so now you're getting factual, right? You're getting scientific. You can't falter this method now. So I think that the best way to answer this is by answering it with questions. And I think, Latia, you as a teacher kind of know that sometimes it's in the way that the student asks the question that you kind of understand that the part that they don't understand. And so you kind of go ahead and you ask these probing questions to guide the student to get to the answer,
get to the answer. Yes.
And I think it's also respectful to engage in questions first and not just assume that you understand what the person is asking you. So I'm going to take the scientific approach, and we also know that we've learned that the quality of the type of questions that you ask, if it's really good, you get really good quality answers to that. And oftentimes the answer lies within the question. So the first question I would ask is, who is asking this question? Right? Which group of people are asking this question? And then the second question is, the men who are asking this question, because we know it's them, I think I would want to know, the first thing I would want to know is, have you committed yourself to this conviction? And I think it's very important to ask this, because is this really a question or is this a statement? Because otherwise we can't go any further. If you've made up your mind that you don't want to hear another point of view, but that women are complicated, then there's nothing more to say. Actually, I'll tell you a funny thing. I sent this, it's not really funny, but it's funny to me. I posted this on my status on WhatsApp, and within probably like 2 minutes after I sent it, somebody responded to that, and they said, on this topic that you have, as a guy obviously, that women are complicated, the answer is yes. End of interview.
Finish.
Right? And then the cheek, he writes to me after that, and if you go on the show to go and talk more about and convince others that that women are not complicated, then that is proof that you are complicated. Sort of like a catch-22 situation, right? So that's why I'm saying it's important to know. It's actually senseless to engage in this if they've already decided that this is just the truth. And then I think the third question and this is all things that I think if you are listening, right, like honestly, really just answer these questions for yourself. The third question that I would have is, do you understand that when you are making this as a statement, that it's not just a statement about women, but that this statement actually will influence all other relationships that you would have, whether it's even if you look at your past relationships, you would probably find that you had some other issues with women before. And if you look at even your children, now I know someone will say, hold on, that's why I know that you definitely don't know what you're talking about, because I have a wonderful relationship with my children. Maybe they're small. But wait till they get to teenager stage when they do have complex emotions, you're going to struggle. And this is going to be, if you, every time you don't understand something and you say that it's complicated, then this means it's also going to probably affect your finances. It's probably going to affect your mental progress and your spiritual progress, because almost everything in life that is worth it somehow, whether you believe in God or the universe or anything else, everything that's worth it is wrapped up into some form of effort. It's going to be a little more difficult for you to get something valuable out of it. So if it's easy, it's probably not something of value. Okay?
That's right.
True.
So then I think we're on the fourth question. And I think this is where I'm actually really trying to understand men. Right? I'm not making accusations here. This is me trying to understand you. What do you mean when you say we are complicated?
But that's the question. Sorry, I need to come in there. But the question you keep on mentioning from a man's perspective. You see, women even say that women are complicated. So the question doesn't just arise from a man's point of view.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I heard you say the whole time, your questions is good. You ask questions to create answers. You have to do that, which is perfect. Spot on. And you use the scientific approach. But ladies, before I go ahead, we're running a competition today. So if you tag someone in, and ladies, I think they must say jelly bean. They must spell out jelly bean, that's right, and tag 3 friends. And Tracey's giving away 5 vouchers to her ebook, which you can get for free. Ek weet ons almal van vrygoede. We like free stuff. Gratis. Gratis. Mahala. Sien jy hoe complicated is I mean, mate. But yeah, I'm going to repeat that again. Tag 3 friends, and what you do is tag 3 friends and just comment section and say jelly bean next to it. So you stand a chance to win this ebook voucher. That's right, Tracey?
1 of 5 ebook vouchers.
1 of 5
but
ebook vouchers.
They should also say whether, so there are 3 English ones and 3 Swahili ones available, so you need to say which one you want. Which
okay,
language.
that's right. So yeah, you have to tag 3 friends. I love what Sharon. I can't read. That's why she's watching these things. It's an ebook.
It's an ebook, so it's easy. You can lay in bed just before you go sleep at night. It's nothing that you have to open. So that's the wonderful thing about technology these days, is that you can read the book wherever you are, because we all are always on our phones. So what better way of actually having a book that you can learn from and enjoy, especially about relationships.
A short, but yeah, a jelly bean. It's a jelly bean. It goes quick.
Yummy.
But
jelly
anyway,
beans.
yummy jelly bean. But before I go ahead, and I want to get back to the topic, and I want to get the viewers' comments involved. Yeah, as I was saying, the question does not just arise from men. Now, where I'm going to say women are complicated because we are talking about women. We're not talking about men and the other sex now. We're talking about women. If we talked about men, I could maybe discuss it, but the topic is around women. So yes, women are complicated in the relationship sense. Let me put it as that. Let me put me narrow it down a little bit, and I'm not going to make it vague. It's unfair to say women are complicated because there's a lot of women that's good at jobs, good at handling babies, good at doing stuff, good at working hard, all those things. They're not complicated in that sense. But when it comes to one-on-one relationships, we hear mothers and daughters not having good relationships. We hear mothers-in-laws and daughter-in-laws not having good relationship. We don't hear these things from men often. We hear women breaking each other down. That's why they had to create the scenarios. Carry each other's crowns, women. Carry each other's crowns. So why does it become so complicated towards women in the end of the day to build a better bond? You hear about bromance. Ooh, he must be gay the way he loves his friend. Ooh, guys, why can't they just go away, have a weekend away without having any complications? No pun intended, any complications. But when it comes to women in the workplace, there's catfighting. Is it because of previously being disadvantaged in the workplace? When it comes to women also, when it comes to relationships, now they are more extremeness when it being feminist. They fight harder than respecting their husband. They might be God-loving people or whatever it is. Then they go ahead and say, yeah, but you have to go 50-50. Unfortunately, this is my opinion. There's not such a thing as 50-50. We all have a role to play in a relationship. Even if it's two guys dating each other, there's a role to play. So there's no 50-50 when it comes to relationship. Now, the question arises again, why are women complicated when it comes to certain relationship bonding with the other women, especially, and when they bring it back to their own partner? So that's why men find that women, when they date them or marry them, they're not at peace anymore. Is it because they are comfortable? Is it because they are settled in? Or is it because they are hurtful? Let me use that word. They are fed up of what they had. They need to move on to a new thing. So let me just hear your answer and maybe Tracey's.
Okay, so I would actually go back to what Tracey said, is to pose questions. So she, one of the questions were, is it a question or is it a statement, right? Now, based on what you said,
who does it come from?
And who does it come from? Now, you say that in the relationship sense. So now I have another question. Why did this come? Why is it that this comment is so well known worldwide, that women, or the statement or the question, why is it that this question arose or this statement made that women are complicated? So that's question one. And I think that we need to look at the broader history of women who had to fight for their rights, had to fight to be recognized, had to fight to be heard. And I think, like Tracey said, you need to also question, where does it come from, first of all, and of course, why is it a statement? And I believe that you cannot necessarily say that you cannot make it gender specific, that a specific gender is complicated. I think that people in general, it's also up to the individual. It's based on each individual, because you get men that's also very, very complicated. And then you also need to question, why is it seen that women are complicated? Is it because women take the time to observe men and to understand them better, and men take less time to actually understand women? Now the whole statement came about that women are complicated because men does not take the time to actually really observe and understand women as women do with men.
Okay, I'll let Tracey answer, and I have a kind of an answer for you for that.
I didn't want to say it, but it's obviously all of that included. And if you come back to, yes, women also tend to say that women are complicated. I've heard that as well. And I think, again, it comes down to, there are so many philosophers who've said this one thing: everything that you don't understand is complicated. And I think that's what it comes down to. And like, as Nathia was also saying, that, I have a nephew. He's just recently learned to count. So I was teaching him about how to make money, how to get paid for your money, even if you're 2 years old. And, I'm trying to teach him some business principles. You get paid for your service. So I obviously just gave him 10 bags because he can only count till 10. And he's counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And I said, okay, Issachar, how many bags do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and till 10. I said, okay, 10, yay. How many bags do you have? 1, 2. He doesn't grasp that there's a conclusion after he counted. So every time I ask a question, so obviously if I say to him, Issachar, what's 2 plus 6? Just because he knows numbers, everybody's going to know that that's too complicated for him to answer, right? So, and I think that we need to understand that just because we can speak doesn't mean that we can communicate. And I think that the problem is sometimes that women are better able to express a broader range of emotions. And men then would, instead of saying, I'm trying to understand this thing where you feel sad, which I normally label as nothing, I'm tired. I'm trying to understand what that is, if I also feel that. And they rather just say, you're complicated. And the women who also don't know how to express their emotions are also the women who say other women are complicated. I think it's just, as Lithia was saying, it's something where you don't, and to me it's actually a and I think I want to call it what it is. I think that you are basically saying you are not important enough for me to try and figure you out. I think and that is why, and if we know that most relationships actually do end up breaking up because of a lack of communication, and you already decide not to understand that person, then you are basically saying you're not valuable. Because I can tell you this one thing, men, if you didn't know this about yourself, I'm going to tell you something about yourself that you don't know. You like complicated. Yes, you do.
I disagree with you. I'm sorry.
If you didn't like complicated, you would choose, most of you would choose an automatic car over a manual.
No, men like peace. Men love peace. Plain and simple. I don't know what man you've been talking to. I'm going to tell you, men like peace. Men love solving problems. Yes. But they don't like issues that can't be resolved. They don't like such stuff.
Women too.
Okay. Now I'm gonna maybe. Sorry, you were still saying speak on. I'm a very respectful man. Speak on.
Go for it.
So here's the thing. So Lithia, you said something earlier about the both of you are speaking from a growth perspective. Everything I hear out both of your mouths is from a growth perspective. And where have you learned these things? From a relationship point of view, probably, because you can't speak if you have not been in a relationship, if you have not learned from another thing. You said these words: women try to understand men more. Bull crap. I'm going to tell you now. Bull crap. I'm going to tell you why I say that.
Okay, your opinion.
Okay, my opinion.
Yep.
Bull crap. And my opinion is always strong.
Let's listen to it.
Okay, so this is my answer. Who are the hunters? Right? All the years, who are the hunters? Men, plain and simple. Stone Age coming from those days. Who are the ones always pursuing what they want, what they need? How do you pursue what you want and what you need? You need to study your prey. You need to study what the prey looks like, what the prey smells like, what the prey eats, how the prey is, right? So that means the man study his opponent or his prey, the one he wants, his victim. Let's call it a victim, because he's going to hunt you down to have him as your own. Women don't have that natural instinct to size a man inside and out. Women, again, and you're going to find it wrong from me, and I'm speaking from an alpha male perspective. People might shoot me down by saying this. I'm speaking from this perspective. Women will look at it at this point of view. They will say, okay, I've got my partner. Your man wanted you. You went to go chase you. You might have given him signals or something off like I wanted him. Might not have given anything, and he pursued you and wore you down and got you. So now you have him. You have this man, he falls in love with you, he's comfortable with you, he falls into his comfortable traits. This is how simplistic men are. We're so simplistic, we fall into our traits. So now you knock us on those traits every single time. This is when you become complicated. Let me put it as such. You knock us on our traits every single day. You leave the washing
Your bad traits, you mean? Okay.
Your bad traits also. Yeah. Sometimes your good traits don't even come up because we don't want to notice it. So if you studied your man, you would understand a man likes to be told every day. Not all women do it. There might be some women. I'm not going to shoot everyone down to those women out there. There's women out there that will say, you're a good man. You work hard. You provide. Even to a man that's not working, you're a good man. You work hard. And I'm saying again, you guys speak from a growth perspective. Now imagine a woman that has not grown and has 5-7 relationships. She's 72. She wants to tell you she knows everything about the relationships, but her mental space has not grown to that point to be selfless. So again, here's another trait women have, and you're going to kill me for this. Women are naturally more selfish than men because they're a little bit needy for love. Women are more needy for comfort, for care, for all these things. So men want respect and to be lifted up and be carried. Ego. Men have testosterone and ego, and that's why you get skinny men out there, because they're letting the ego go and they're not finding themselves. If you look at men 60 years ago, they were big, bold, manly, rugged. Why? Because the testosterone, because they fed their egos with hard work, everything they did. They went out, they showed that woman they're men. Man, nowadays women are making men less of men. If you look at it, so this is what makes it complicated. What do you want? Do you want a man that can lead you, and then you get lead properly how you want to be led, and then you say, I am being controlled. There's a fine line between that also. A
Yes.
fine line between being controlled and wanting a alpha male. This is why I say women are complicated.
Yes.
They
No,
want a
no, that's
man, they want a man, but they also want a boy. So what do you want in a relationship sense?
I disagree. I
so
say
so
balancing every
But that's what I'm
aspect.
saying. If you listen carefully,
yes,
how
but
do you balance it?
Okay, Tracy, you can go ahead and then we.
how do you balance what?
How do you balance? She says you need. I disagree. You need to find balance. I'm asking her, how do you balance it?
Yes. Well, I first want to touch on the point of the hunting thing that you were talking about. And I think that's very important that you brought up that specific example. But I think that we need to linger on that a little bit. Because yes, and I think this is so crucial that you brought that up, because yes, men, you study your prey in the same way that a hunter would study your prey. But what happens after that animal, the predator gets the prey? They consume it and they walk away. That person is no longer there. However, in a relationship, that prey stays there. So now you need to learn other things you need to learn to live with this. And I think you need to go beyond the part. You can't, that's not a once off thing. And this is why a lot of men do that. They hop from the one woman to the other because they just see it as prey. And that's where it gets a little bit complicated. So it's not entirely like a hunter prey like thing. It's a little bit different than that. And I think men need to understand that part as well. Now, when you're talking about the toxic women, I'm not, and I don't know who's on here, and I honestly don't care if you don't like what I'm going to say now, but I'm not a feminist. I don't like what feminism represents and what it has become, if it means that a woman and a guy needs to be exactly the same. Because I honestly, I think that there are traits in men that are unique to men, and in women that's unique to women, and they're meant to somehow complement each other. And the kids need both of those qualities to just grow wholesomely. And at the same way, there will be things that females will be better at doing and men will be better at doing. So I'm not a feminist. And yes, I do think that that's a toxic thing. I think it comes, and it's not just a women or a man thing. It's both of them. If you don't know who you are, and you don't know, therefore, what you need or what you want, obviously you're going to demand this, and then when you have it, you realize maybe it's not what I wanted. Then you demand something else. That's a different class of women that you're talking about. But if you, and I think that we need to also understand that, I don't know, I think those are two different, completely separate topics, maybe, although they look like they intertwine. But, and that's why I said, when men say women are complicated, I think that I want to know whether it's their own opinion that they're passing down, or if it's something that they've heard from the environment over and over again, so much so that it now becomes the natural, normal thing to say without you having to bother to figure it out. Because if we get down to it, men are, like you said, just as complicated as women are. I've never heard a guy, just think about it. Do you know of a guy who comes home from work, had a bad day at work, and the woman says, how was your day? I'm so glad you asked. Let's have a cup of coffee. I really want to talk about this. I mean, guys don't.
But that's where space comes in. Imagine you drained. Women love space, but they expect men don't love it as much too. You see, when a man takes his space, imagine you come from work, the first thing you ask, what happened? How was your day? Let me kick out my shoes. Let me sit down. Let me breathe and recap. You women do the same thing. Why can't men do it? And I'm gonna let you speak now. Sorry, I'm gonna let you speak now. Why can't men do it? I'm just answering on that, and you can go.
That's just so complicated of you, because now you don't know whether you should sit or stand, or whether you should ask how was your day. Oh, there's a time period in order to ask how your day was. That is also you now being complicated.
It's solved very simply. The guy can just say, can we talk about this
Can we talk about it later?
Transparency.
Exactly.
Yes, but to just brush it off. And the thing is, if it happens now and then, we can understand. But that if that's always your answer, I'm tired. I'm tired to men is the same. If you are having a bad time, if you just like if they're sad or depressed, they normally say, I'm just tired. But tired physically is very different to I'm tired of
Tiredly.
living.
Mm.
I mean, you need to tell us, are you depressed so much so that you're tired of life? Or does your tired mean physically tired? So you tie your things up into very simple, what you think is simple terms, but it actually complicates things.
Exactly. So well, as
Because
you
we
said,
need
women
to
are
tie
much,
figures.
and I think, as you said, women are much more expressive, so they also understand what they are feeling, and they are able to express what they are feeling in the moment that they are feeling it. Where men, they just have one monotone. I'm tired. I don't want to talk about it.
Not
Yeah.
all men.
Well, a lot of men, they
So
have
that's
one.
where the difference. Now, how's
they-
our
they-
relationship? Let me put it in. How's my transparency in this relationship? So you can't say all men.
But that's why I say you also can't say all women. You cannot also
But that's why I
generalize the
said
statement,
now.
because going back to one of your to the point that you made, that women or that men are natural hunters, therefore they need to study their prey. And I would like to agree with what Tracey said. You studying your prey in order to hunt it, in order to capture the prey. But how are you studying the prey in the
maintain it.
relationship to maintain it? So, I mean, men, why do men do? Why do they work so hard?
I'm gonna
Question
reflect.
to you.
I'm gonna.
Hold on.
I'm gonna
Question to you.
Yeah.
Why do men generally, do you think, why do men work so hard to to obtain things within this life?
Ask that question now again after this. I'm gonna go to a couple of viewers'
Yeah,
comments.
we haven't even
And again, a reminder: Tracy's giving away 5 vouchers to her ebook and 3 Swahili, 3 English. So if you can, a little bit of Swahili, you can get 3 Swahili books or so. And if you want 3 English books, 2 or 3,
Three.
2 Swahili.
Three English and 2 Swahili. So
That's
if you do want to stand a chance to win any of those ebooks, then go ahead, comment with tag 3 friends within the comment section, and also comment the word jelly beans and also the language that you'd like, English or Swahili. So go ahead, comment with those 3 friends, tag those 3 friends, and you can stand a chance to win one of the 5 books that are up for grabs.
Free. Gratis.
So, julle weet mos ons hou van gratis. We love free things. So let's just go up to the comments. We can just delve into some of the comments, because we haven't even gotten to that. Move up. Quite a few that this conversation was so.
Okay, let's just go up to a couple
Okay.
of comments. Let's just start by Sharon, probably.
Yes.
Maybe Sharon said, yeah.
Let me fall indoor, and all women just need to be understood. That's what we were saying.
And we just skip pause and we get some just as hellos.
Okay, and then Meg says, we're not complicated. We are just detailed in every communication.
I know her. Hi.
Okay, so
There, Sharon says, some women have domineering ways and think they're always right. For them, it ain't easy to admit they are complicated.
that's right. And let's go up more.
Meg says, men are complicated, men lie, and women cry.
And then, oh, that was just there. Look what she's done. Andre, she tagged, Nikita, she tagged, Hope, she tagged. She's getting a book if you don't answer. And and then she said, Jelly Bean, that's exactly what you should do to win your to win your ebook voucher. And then we go to Sylvia.
So you can even give the ebook if that is what you like, because it will be vouchers. So you can even give the vouchers to somebody that you feel does require this book, would love this book. So Sylvia says, I am just here to listen, folks. The topic is vague and not very specific. This is not a yes or no question.
That's the whole point of the contradiction. There's no yes or no. So let's say, no, Byron. I didn't have a cat fight. I had men that fight when I became a truck driver. Whew, I'm going to get back to that field now. See, where you said it depends where the question comes from. You see, where does her feelings towards men come from? You see, all these things need to be answered with a question. Very good in the beginning. That was just through Byron.
And then Samuel says, I think the answer is clear. The reason why women, generally speaking, women say and what they mean are 2 different things. Men, on the other hand, know what they want, which is why men are leaders and women are not.
Ooh.
I don't disagree, because Sharon said, I don't agree. You get a lot of female leaders.
Okay, and then we take 3 more comments.
Samuel says, women can never understand men as good as we understand women. Men and women live completely different lives. Men are factually based and women are emotionally based. I partially agree that men are more of logical thinkers and women are much more emotional creatures.
I do not agree. But yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I see you guys jelly beans. Don't forget to tag the 3
So-
friends with the jelly beans.
Abigail, hey,
Don't forget.
that's my
Um,
goal.
so here's
So-
the last 2 comments we're gonna take.
Okay,
This one and
so
one more.
yes, Tracy, men calls women complicated when they are looking for an exit. Biden, that is where openness comes in, to be able to talk about anything. Don't look for a way out. We are more open to express, but most men is altyd amper bang om te praat. Ons vroumense wil maar net 'n interest show in jou dag.
Okay, and I just wanted to give this. Yes, I look Byron, you absolute truth. Anyway, I needed that. And then last comment.
And then Sylvia also. I agree. In general, women are naturally more emotionally expressive than men, which may lead to them being more complicated. And Sylvia also saying, we are living in a generational society where boys are raised to be softer men and women to be more strong and independent.
Ooh, that's exactly my point. Anyway, rephrase your question.
So
and
my
re-ask
question
it.
is, why do men work so hard to achieve what they need to achieve within this life?
Within his life, for
Yes.
women to
Exactly.
now.
Hold on. I'm not done with
but
my
your
question.
question-
No, hold on. You said for women, right? So when you work so hard, you working so hard to attract what you classify or perceive as the ideal perfect woman,
But I can't
right?
speak for all men. I can
No,
only speak for
okay.
myself.
So whatever you do is for women. So you have, of course, a perception of what you want your woman to be like. Am
No,
I
we
correct?
don't do everything.
Well,
for women.
most of the things that you do when you work hard, when you want to buy your car, you want to impress who?
we want to be more of attractive being to the opposite sex.
Of course. So of course, when you want to attract the opposite sex, you have a certain perception of what you want them to be, right? So you are working towards this perfect ideal perception of what you think a woman should be. But as soon as you find that woman that you want, you then need to learn to study that individual woman as she is in her own individuality, which is why in most cases then men think that women are complicated because they had this ideal perception of what they believe a woman should be like. And when a woman does not meet that expectation, they classify women as complicated. That is why this question arises because of men.
I
But
repost
I
this
think
question
it goes
towards
both
both of you.
ways, though.
Yeah, I'm going to repost this question. The same
Okay.
question you asked. Would you like a man to be submissive towards a man, or do you want to be controlling in a relationship? Both of you, would you like to be submissive towards a man at your own free will? I'm not saying be forced submissive, but would it be nice to be submissive towards your man?
Okay,
Yeah,
if
I think
No,
go ahead.
don't answer the question like you told me.
Tracy?
I love coming back to definitions though, because I've been in so many debates where we argue for an hour only to realize that we both have a different definition of it. So I think we need to first say, what do you mean by submissive, right? And I don't know what, because I'm telling you from what I've seen from a very close relationship, that I have had the unfortunate but I've seen submissive meaning, even though I'm the man and you're the woman, I decide what color curtains should hang, I decide what you cook, I decide, and I think that is a man leading from his ego, and usually bruised ego. But I think that if a man is, like you said, somebody who's involved in some form of constant self-development, who's constantly getting better, a woman doesn't even mind if a man makes a mistake. But if he constantly makes the same mistake and he isn't the one who's only paying for it, but the whole family, then women start to go, we can't afford this anymore. Maybe I need to take over. And I think that, again, we need to both give each other, like you said, Byron, women tend to complain that men don't communicate, and then men complain that women talk too much. But I think we need to give each other the understanding that we are different. But I think we need to also, in the understanding comes communicating this difference. So if a man can say, not right now, but I will come back to you and talk about it, but they don't do it, they just never talk about it, right? So women know this, and that's why they push. And I think if women can understand that men are just not as expressive as them, and I think women can learn from men in this sense, that a guy can learn from a woman how to express himself better and not just use 4 emotions: hungry, horny, angry, and excited. And
Love that.
if females can learn from men that you don't need to process all your feelings, every thought that you have with your mouth, you can first think through it and then decide what to talk about, because maybe a guy doesn't have the capacity to absorb 10,000 words a day because he's different. Otherwise, you would have dated somebody from the same sex if you wanted somebody that
Exactly.
was the same
That's
as
why guys are happier.
they're gayer.
They're gayer. Yeah, you guys both didn't answer the question yet. Still, you tiptoed around it very nicely. Submissive. Not in a controlling sense.
I from my understanding of submissive, in the sense that obviously I'm a Christian, so from my understanding of submissive, in the sense that he takes the lead role,
That's right.
then and he's a wise man. It's very important that there's wisdom in the man. Then I absolutely, because a woman will be led by a man who she feels safe with. In fact, she will be led by any man, not just a man. If a president makes her feel safe, she will be led by the president. If a pastor makes her feel safe, and that's why a lot of women, the men get angry because you don't want to listen to me, but you listen to your pastor, or you listen to, because she feels safe with him because he's wise. So yes, absolutely. I feel that if a woman is not broken, she will be submissive.
Okay. I agree. I couldn't differ from anything that Tracey was saying, because that's exactly what I was going to say, is that a man needs to allow me to be able to submit to him, but I cannot submit to a man that has not proven himself to me that I can submit to him, that I can trust him, and that, as you said, that I can feel safe with him. Because I think most women, as you said, if they're not broken, most women want to be led. It will be so much pressure on a woman if she has to lead and make the important decisions within a household all the time. She wants a man to also help her and to lead the household or even the relationship. So if you can trust that a man can take the lead, then of course I will submit to that man. But if I don't feel safe, then unfortunately there will be a loss of respect within that relationship, because I think that with submission comes a form of respect for the role that your husband or your partner plays within that relationship. And I think learning to understand the roles that you play as a woman and that your partner plays as a man, that is quite important as well.
I agree with you. I agree with both of you. And I'm raising a daughter. So for me, clearly, I want to make an independent woman, but I also want to raise her so she understands, and people might not understand this, how to treat the opposite sex and understand the opposite sex. You see, a lot of ladies nowadays are, like you said, this feminist movement, it's more of attacking the opposite sex, but not understanding the opposite sex, which is clearly what you said in the beginning, where with these questions, to need to understand. In communication, we use this word a lot. Now, here's the thing where I say women needs to detach from their brain. And I'm going to say this, detach. Hear the word I say, detach. It's going to happen.
Their emotions.
No, from the brain first, it needs to lose here. And then your emotions will, of course, let it go, because it's hard to detach something from your emotion, because that's a difficult thing to do. But if you put logic behind it, then it becomes more understandable to detach, to take that emotions away. So what I mean by that is, firstly, you need to understand everything you're going through today in this materialistic world is set up by society and not by your own happiness, not by how you perceive life to be. So women used to be skinny in the past, and that anorexic, and that used to be the thing. Now it's curvy again. Used to be curvy, that used to be the look. So all these societal pressures that women, and I feel sorry for them. And this is what I'm trying to teach my daughter. Look at your happiness. Look at what you want to see in life. You might be seen as a crazy person or eccentric person, or they will say, oh, she's just creative. No, you are looking for what your purpose is in life. And unfortunately, ladies, a lot of you have lost the plot in the sense, because you are fighting each other. Reason being for the opposite sex, because you wouldn't have fought each other if there was other men only, because you want to achieve certain things which has been held back by you, and yet men are still in charge, they are still making you feel lesser. They are still making you feel low of yourself. So you're still fighting for something. Again, listen carefully what I'm saying. Detach yourself from society norm and understand, what do I want in this life? What do I want to achieve as a woman in this life? What is my goals? Do I want to be a writer? Do I want to be a singer? Do I want to love a man? Do I want to love myself? Because remember, if you're not ready to submit to a man, you are not ready to get married. You need to understand this. This is my point of view. You need to understand that you must be ready to not understand. I'm going to in this relationship with an opposite sex, which is foreign ground. Anything they say is foreign into your body. If you stick your finger in your eye, it's foreign body. This is foreign ground. You need to understand. I'm going in there. He wants respect. He has an ego. He has testosterone. You said now you understand men. Men has all these things built into their body and also into their brain, which has been said to them over and over and over in the years. Same with women. You are taught you are more emotional. You are the carrier of kids. You are this, which is the most phenomenal job, as I said on Mother's Day, because there's no heavier job than having to look after life, which we fight for each day. But women are so indoctrinated to say you need to achieve what the man wants. There it comes back. Understand your role also in this life and what you want out of the life, and understand what you can achieve. Understand what is reachable for you. Because if your parents tell you anything, you can dream it, you can achieve it, bullcrap. There is some things that is not achievable in this life, and you need to readjust and reset your goals and understand what you want. That is my point of view. What makes us as humans complicated.
I think also that we need to get away from, I can tell you the honest truth now. I can tell you that I don't do things for men, and I've never done it. I don't compete against women. I've always competed to see what I can do. And even with all the stuff that I'm taking on now, and I think it's, as much as people may encourage it, you said earlier that most of the stuff that men do, the way they work hard, whatever, it's to become more attractive to a woman. It's the wrong approach. And if you bring it back to what makes you happy, that's very abstract. If you say to people, do what makes you happy, how do I know when I found something that makes me happy? And I think those conversations need to be had. What will it look like? What will it feel like when I know I found my purpose? When I know I've discovered something that makes me happy. So we should also stop just talking about do what makes you happy. Don't do it for a man, because like a friend and I, we often make jokes about this, which is because people don't understand the negative. Don't do. We only understand what you must do. And I think in the church setting as well, I've been criticizing this for years. It's always have more faith, but not, okay, this is step 1 to 5 on how you get more faith. And we need to talk more about, have more those kind of conversations. What does it mean to be happy? How do I know? What does it look like? And again, we're talking about just like happy. The reason why men cannot express I'm feeling sad is because they themselves don't even know. They've done studies showing that, and this is for parents now, but children learn from their parents how to express emotions. So they are, in your talking to your child, you're supposed to say to your child, what's wrong with you, baby? Are you feeling frustrated now because you can't go out because it's raining? And every time you say something, they learn, oh, this is frustrated. Everything is not sad. This is a new emotion that I'm learning. And if you're grown up, well, you're obviously not going to get that conversation from a parent. So here, this is where it comes down to: read more books. And I'm not saying this because we're promoting a book, right? I'm saying this because, no, this is something that I struggle with a lot. Like, how do you abstract things like philosophical questions, like how do you motivate yourself when you're not motivated? How do you know that you're happy? How do you know when you've discovered your purpose? Do you need to discover your purpose, or is it already in you? Stuff like that. You can't absolutely know and figure all of the stuff out for yourself. So read a broad range of books. Read on philosophy, read on biography, and especially read things that you're not used to reading. If you are always reading novels of this person falling in love with that person or something like that, you're not growing. So read some other stuff. If you haven't read a book in a year, then that means you're the same person that you were last year, and that's never good.
Of course. And I totally agree with you. Always be on the path of self-growth and self-development, because that's the only way, as you said, reading and equipping yourself with knowledge is the only way you're going to learn and grow. I just want to go to a few more comments because we actually have come to the end of the show, which goes so quickly.
wow.
So if we can just go through some of the viewers'
been an hour
comments,
almost.
and then just wrap it up. Just go up a little bit more.
Oh, you want? Okay, yeah, we were, yeah.
Okay, so Bernadette says what makes men complicated is that they do not express their feelings easily, and women have to try and figure it out, which is one thing that we've touched on during the show.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay, there's more jelly beans coming in. Oh, just a reminder, we're running a competition. 5 ebook vouchers are being given away. All you need to do is the same like Silvio did. He tagged Natalie, Letha, and Colin, and he said jelly beans at the end, and he might win an ebook voucher. So yeah, let's go ahead.
So if we can just also go to Sharon. The question is, are women complicated? We more about what men think and say. And then we can just go to a few more. Women are very complicated. I'm 13 years with my wife. She prefers to keep a lot in instead of speaking out. If women spoke out, they wouldn't be as complicated. And then Sharon says, if women stayed home, take care of the house and their children, things might have been different. No one can take care of your kids the way you as a mother do. Men should have continued being the breadwinner. Maybe we would have had all things we are facing. We wouldn't have had all things we are facing today. Wow.
Women can't think that way, unfortunately, today. And I'm standing behind that.
And then the last one.
I just picked up on a very serious comment, and I would like to tackle a little topic like this in the future, where Sharon said, my son never expressed his emotions. Sharon, I think we're going to try to create a topic around this because this is quite important as raising kids and raising boys also in this life. So that's an important topic to have. Want hy gaan iemand se man is eendag en hy gaan vir haar nie express.
And then the last comment that Bernadette made is, sometimes it seems as if we do not grow up and down in terms of expressing emotions. Children do so well at freely expressing their emotions. Wow, that's 100%. And then as you grow up, you become more non-expressive when it comes to emotions. But because we are taught, don't cry. Why are you crying? Stop crying. So now you become afraid to express your emotions because also as a child you are taught crying is because you're weak. So don't cry. Also, like Tracey said, it also depends on how, as an infant or as a toddler, how you are allowed to express your emotions. So you learn a lot from your parents. So bye. Okay. So
it's still very important. You guys are laughing. It's a very important topic. It's my friend, my age group of friends. And I see still more, some of my friends are single because of those reasons, because they don't know how to communicate properly with a woman. They don't know how to express themselves. Everything is just like coffee, tea, cook. That's all they do. They don't.
Okay, so we have come to the end of the show. We don't, because we have to package this for TV purposes. So Tracey, what we usually do at the end of the show, we do give our guest hosts an opportunity to just share some value and share anything that they would like to with the viewers that would help motivate them. We are living in these COVID times, so we will give you just about 2 or 3 minutes to motivate our guest. No pressure. So we will give you the screen just for a few minutes.
Wait, but motivate them on COVID or what?
No. So this is the section we like to call Keep It Real. It doesn't need to be around the topic. Okay. It can, whatever you want to do around your book or saying why you wrote your book, or it can just be get up, keep moving, a little bit of motivation, or just to be real and say, this is what I've learned from life. Just, we all have a piece of story to tell and something to share with someone. As you have viewers, you have your own I think Instagram pages and stuff, and you speak to your audience and people like that. This is just a small section of the moment we want you to share with our audience that we give to our guest host. So thank you, Tracey. You're going to be on the screen alone. Don't worry. What's us in the background?
Okay. I think if I could say one of the most important things that I would add is something that comes up a lot, and that is that people don't change, and it's an absolute lie. I think I'm living proof, and we've seen a lot of people, and it's very weird that even Christians would say it because they always say Jesus saves and changes. But anyway, that's another topic. People can change. You can change. You don't have to stay stuck. Even if you are 60 years old, you can still, there are a lot of things that you can do. Like, for example, if you've always wanted to publish a book, you're never too late to do it. You can still do it now. But it comes down to the fact that if you feel that you don't have the confidence to do, the thing that you're doing and you don't have the skills to do it, then you're going to have to figure out ways to do it. And one of the best ways to do that is to read books on that topic. But you can grow and you can change. And in fact, one of the skills that they've highlighted as what is going to be one of the most important skills of this century is somebody who can learn on their own, learn by themselves. So read, and there's audiobooks now for people who can't read, read with the eyes. There are audiobooks now as well. So keep reading and ask for suggestions, even on Facebook, whatever. What kind of book can I read if I have this problem? So yeah, I think that's the most important encouragement you can give to somebody, is that they don't need anybody else's help in most of the things that they feel that they need money for, people for, whatever. Everything that you need is already, somebody wrote about it in a book. Find the book, find the books, read about it. And every time you read it, has been said that when you learn something new, your brain can never go back to what it was. And you change from your mind, you start to change, and then you start to make changes in everything else in your life. So if your brain can never be the same after you read a book, then it means effectively every time you read a book and learn something new, you are a new person. So I think that's my
Love it.
1 minute or whatever.
Thank you so much, Tracey. Thank you for taking up the time and sharing so much value on the show. We have so many comments that came in, and many people that loved the show and said that this was definitely one of the great shows. And if you would like to go ahead and purchase Tracey's book, it's called The Yummy Jelly Beans of Relationships. It is an ebook, so you can go ahead and purchase the book via Google eBooks. And then also, if you'd like to find her on social media, she is on YouTube, The Colored J, and also on Instagram. Her Instagram name is Better Life Cheat Sheet. So go ahead, give her a follow.
And give them the last chance to win, man.
And also, please, you have until Tuesday evening, which we will then announce the winner. So even if you watch the replay of the show, you can still comment with 3 people's names, 3 of your friends' names, as well as the word jelly beans in the comment section. So you still have until Tuesday evening.
The more you comment, the more chances to win.
So as Tracey said, if you'd like to learn and become that new person, then go ahead and comment so that you can win that book and start reading. So Tracey, thank you so much. We loved having you on the show. If you have a few minutes to just chat to us for a few minutes, then please wait for us in the studio. If not, we do understand it's quite late and it's Sunday evening. So we will just end off the show.
Okay.
You can say goodbye to our viewers.
So you can just say bye to them.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for everybody who joined who knows me also.
Okay. See you now.
So lovely show. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure the viewers also have learned a lot through the show. We have so many people that came in and said thank you, The Contradiction. This has been a great show. Great show, peeps. So many positive comments coming in. So please do catch us next week, same time, same place, where we will be having another awesome topic. And Biden?
I just wanted to say that even though you win a book, don't forget to get it out there and tell people about the book, because it's all about bringing and elevating our women, our ladies, first of all, and our people in our areas that we grew up, our South Africans. So elevate them, buy the book, even as jy kan lees, koop die boek en gee dit vir iemand anders.
And give it to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Give it to someone else. Moenie stingy wees, ons weet jy kan hy boek koop. Go buy the book and give it to someone else, but you will stand a chance to win. Remember the last chance? Thea said until Tuesday. Ek wil gesê net after the show. But she said if you catch it on repeat, I don't like it. If you don't watch it live, you can't watch it on repeat only. So if you catch it on repeat also, just comment in the comment section 3 names and jelly beans, and you stand a chance to win an ebook. But with that said, we would like to say we love you and
good night.